It's round 5 of the NRL. Balmain at home against Penrith. Wayne Pearce's junior Cubs are coming of age. With back-to-back wins over Manly and Canterbury, the Tigers are ready for the battle of the big cats.
Jason Weber is in the corner.
The Panthers are coming off a record-breaking win over the Rams, but they're still to win 2 in a row.
The Panthers are away at Brandy. Greg Alexander.
It's the Penrith Panthers in the eye of the Tigers at Leichhardt.
Michael Gillette, that might be the one that will clinch it for the Balmain Tigers.
Hello everybody, I'm Warren Smith and welcome to Leichhardt Oval. It is the Tigers taking on the Panthers. Penrith coming into this game, their record 2 wins and 2 losses, while Balmain an impressive record 3 wins from their 4 games. And Wally Lewis, despite that record, it appears that Wayne Pearce, their coach, still feels they haven't earned the respect of their opponents.
That's a pretty fair comment. I think a lot of people believe that Balmain are going to end up around about the middle of the table, but I think with wins in the last couple of weeks over Manly and Canterbury, that deserves a little bit of credit for them.
Well, Balmain's defence has been good. Penrith's not so good, but their attack has been outstanding.
Well, it has. Penrith are always a team that score plenty of points, but of course football games are usually won by the team denying the opposition points, and I think that's where Balmain are going to try and concentrate today.
All right, factoring all that in, who's going to win it?
Well, I'll toss a coin on that one. I probably would lean towards Penrith normally, but I think the way that they look on their home ground, Balmain, I think you've got to probably try and lean towards them a little.
All right, well, I'll see if you're right. We'll hope you can stay with us at Leichhardt Oval. It is the Tigers taking on the Panthers. And not a bad Saturday afternoon crowd building up here at Leichhardt Oval. We won't get anywhere near the attendance record of 23,000. But for a Saturday afternoon, they've come in quite late to Leichhardt, and they're expecting to see their team continue their good form in the first month of the competition. The Norman Latcham Robinson stand as the Tigers come out of their dressing room. Coach Balmain coach Wayne Pearce has been doing wonders with his side. In 1998, of course, they finished midfield in the Australian Rugby League last year, and they've upset some big names already. The likes of Manly, you spoke about, Wally Lewis. That was a terrific victory for the Tigers as they come out of the tunnel. Beware the eye of the tiger, says the sign. They'll be hoping they can pick up where they left off last week against the Bulldogs.
I do think that game gained them a fair bit of credit. We have a look at their playing staff. I don't think too many people would agree that it would line up against Penrith, but it is one that's really surprised a lot of people today, Warren.
Shannon Nevin, the fullback, the halves, Michael Gillette and Shane Dunley. One change to the starting lineup. Chris Sinclair comes in as hooker, replacing Adam Nable, who is out of the lineup after suffering concussion against the Bulldogs last week. The coach is Wayne Pearce, and this man, Jason Weber, the centre for the Tigers, has been in terrific form this year.
He's done extremely well. I think he's one of the guys that Wayne Pearce probably would have banked on just being a nice solid performer, but not to go quite as well as he has. He's certainly got some pretty big names up against him today, though, lining up in the Penrith team.
The Panthers come out onto Leichhardt Oval. Steve Carter there, the 5'8", and captain of the Panthers. Their record here at Leichhardt isn't all that good. We'll go through that in just a moment, but there is their starting lineup as per program. Peter Jorgensen, the fullback. The coach is Roy Simmons, and Greg Alexander will have a big part to play at halfback. But the man who might come under plenty of pressure, especially under the high ball, is this man, Peter Jorgensen.
Well, he's a guy that knows exactly what it's all about. Played, of course, a fair bit of rugby union, so no doubt would have seen a bit of the ball being kicked. But he's a very integral part of their team at the moment. We saw him develop from a winger or outside centre into a fullback, and he really has surprised a lot of people, myself included. I think he probably would have been a little bit wider out. Sean Hampstead, the referee today, getting a little bit of experience on board, but I think he's about to referee a clash of the Titans in this forward pack.
We're underway. The Panthers' record in the last 14 years at Leichhardt, they've won just once. In fact, since they came into the league, and Shannon Nevin makes a bust from the kickoff, the fullback, and he gets up and goes again. Great start from Nevin, who's been dynamic in the back line for the Tigers. Here's Sirenen now, charging forward. The only member of their team who will play for either New South Wales or Australia. Plenty of experience, and it's been rubbing off on the likes of Shane Walker, his front row partner, who charges across the halfway line now. To the right-hand side they go. Sinclair in number 18, as I said, comes into the game as a late replacement for Adam Naval, who was listed to start the game despite being knocked out in the opening minutes against Canterbury at Balmain last week. He has been taken out of the lineup, and Sinclair comes in as the Panthers get their first touch. Sid Domick takes it up, and Peter Mulholland. It's a big ask for Chris Sinclair to make his debut against a very strong Panthers pack.
Yeah, it is too, Warren. I think the thing with Sinclair's going to be he hasn't trained with them all week either. He's had the flu. I was talking to Wayne Pearce before the match. It'll be a difficult one for a youngster, but you know, I just get the feeling that any side that Wayne Pearce coaches now, and he's established his authority on the side, is going to defend well. I'd probably disagree a little bit, Wally. I think Penrith might just have a little bit too much for them today.
Mark Geyer gets a big reception, dumped to the turf here at Leichhardt. Kick in behind the defence from Alexander. Well, he wasn't going too far, and Withers picks it up to come back towards the halfway line.
Some nice aggressive defence straight away. Mark Geyer coming onto the deck really would have given the hometown pack a lot of confidence to see that they could really look after the biggest man in their opponents as easy as they did.
Mark Stimson handled him on that occasion. Oh, coming in high was Steve Carter. No call from Hampstead, the referee. It was Mark O'Neill who wore the high shot. Now it's Duckworth, the lock forward, who gets it 10 metres on the Panthers side of halfway. Here comes Ciro on the last tackle. I don't think he realises that is the last tackle. So a mistake there by the Tigers. They didn't kick. Sheridan just charged it forward like an early tackle count hitter.
Well, Warren, that's been 3 sets of 6 we've had so far, and while I've controlled it fairly well, there were 2 very poor kicks to wind up the first sets of 6 on either side, and then the third one, of course, from Balmain, was wound up by a ruck to the front, where you don't see that too often in rugby league anymore. They've got to try and structure their kicking game a little bit better.
Brad Drew, the dummy half. Phil Adamson now running forward, met by Sheridan, and he's stopped there. Some strong stuff from the Tigers early on, and likewise the Panthers. Steve Carter was a high shot. It'll be interesting to see if anything comes of that. As Nevin now brings it 15 metres out from his own goal line. A fast pace to start this game. Here's Webber. His coach has rated him as an outside chance to maybe make selection for the Queensland Origin team coming up. He has been in great form, 4 tries to start the year. Stimson now wrestled backwards and slung to the ground by Geyer, who himself has been in great form. Now Duckworth quickly up towards the halfway line. Sinclair gives it away to Gillette. He has the kicking duties in general play today, as always, and Jorgensen tracks back inside his own 10-metre line. Gets around Milford before Bubba Kennedy rounds him up. Jason Williams, the enigmatic one on the wing for the Panthers, can be brilliant at times and make mistakes when you least expect it at others. Geyer again, plenty of attention.
Hand on the ball! Hand on the ball! Hey, I called him hell, I called him hell, I called him hell.
A little too much attention, according to Sean Hampstead.
Yeah, Ciro not all that happy about it. It really did look like Geyer was doing his best to try and get the possession away. I don't think there'll be any argument there, though, from Ciro on the replay, but a bad mistake from Penrith, not kicking the ball out.
Well, a terrible mistake, and we'll have a whistle here as Milford struggles to his feet against Jason Williams. The ball boy threw the ball onto the field expecting that kick was going to go out of play. And that's the reason for the hold-up. Sean Hampstead. He's busy to open this game as well. Dunley now. Gets it across to Stimson. Not much happening for the Tigers on that particular hit-up. They work it wide again through Shane Walker.
Against you.
Girdle, the man called out for being up inside the 10 by Hampstead. And this will put the Tigers deep on attack for the first time in the game. Gillette makes no mistake with the kick for the line. And they'll be just 10 metres out. It comes through Dunley to Sheridan. First hit-up. He balked momentarily as Matt Adamson came up to greet him with brother Phil. Sinclair swivels, straightens up and goes for the post. Didn't finish up that far away. Sheridan, the dummy half, to Dunley. They're fanned out to the left. Dunley kicks early in the tackle count. And he'll force a knock-on, it seems, from Jorgensen.
Second one was a knock-on.
Well, he took the odds to it very early in the tackle count. There was nothing happening for him as he laid it on for himself, but fortunately, he'll get the ball back.
Fortune, all right. I didn't think there was too much offering itself there towards that kick. Calling the second one as a knock-on. A few of the Penrith players not all that happy with the call, but doesn't really matter too much. Balmain with an opportunity to pass first point.
Pass Williams to score! From the base of the scrum, the lower Milford one-on-one with Jason Williams. I called him the enigmatic one. Well, that's why, because he can score tries in the blink of an eye and give them up just as easily. But this was extremely soft.
Well, gee, it's very good footwork there. Going to lean towards pretty ordinary defence from Penrith. Greg Alexander being called to try and get across on cover defence after Jason Williams was beaten cold. But again, a try-scoring opportunity being provided for Balmain by a very easy handling error that came to Penrith. All they had to do basically was fall on the football from a very ordinary grubber kick. Pete, really it does look like that the Penrith boys are causing their own problems at the moment, not just from that handling error that came there, but from the kick that didn't go into touch not more than 2 minutes ago. You can't afford to throw those away.
You can't. Well, I mean, that's just field position that they've given up point blank. They've not worked for anything. They've not put Balmain under any pressure in defence, and they've paid the price. But that was just a... I don't know whether Roy Simmons had used the word enigmatic player, but I think he'd be using some others at the moment.
Don't think there'd be much doubt about that. Shannon Nevin from almost the sideline can put the Tigers up by 6 points. Last week, the Panthers came out with all guns blazing against the Adelaide Rams and poured on some easy tries early on. Well, today they'll have to play from behind. Nevin, the former Manly fullback, has found a home at Leichhardt. Strikes it nicely, but just hooking away. And the score will stay at 4-0 to the Tigers in the 8th minute here at Leichhardt.
You can just see that he's been caught point blank. He was flat-footed. I mean, Jason Williams in that circumstance forgot that he had a sideline as an extra defender. Has probably rushed up too quickly.
Ryan Girdler with the restart. Comes down to Shane Walker, who bumps away from Duncan McGilvray. Through the hand, Shane Dunley stepping back inside is tackled by Brad Drew, 30 metres out from his own try line. Here's Webber looking for some cheap metres, and he gets 10 of them. Another good set of 6 developing here for the Tigers. O'Neill goes forward. Almost to the halfway line, still a couple of tackles in hand. Sirenen through Walker, who was standing wide. Beat the tackle of Darren Brown. Matt Adamson hung on by a fingernail to stop him. Otherwise, Walker was going to stream downfield. A slow play the ball. Gillette on the last. Rolling it for the in goal. Jorgensen fills it right on the goal line, and he's met by 3 Tigers. A great set of 6 by Balmain. They went the length of the field. Robbie Beckett, his first touch of the game for the Panthers.
You're either up or back. Mark Stimson, you're either up or back. You can't either up or back. You can't be staying where you were.
They're calling Stimson there as the player that was at fault. But gee, really, that has been a goal mine for Penrith. They were a little bit of stripe. There's Simpson. He called him out, and for the second time in the match, they failed to find touch.
Well, you would not believe it. Another terrible mistake by the Panthers, and they're under pressure yet again. Balmain have made them pay once. They might do it here. Dunley with Sirenen on his hip. He was looking for the big front rower. He couldn't get it to him, but he's tackled midfield 20 metres out. To the right-hand side they go. Gillette. Duckworth was up flat with him. There wasn't much going there, but he still manages to get a pass away before it's intercepted by Girdler. So a let off for the Panthers. Didn't they need it? 3 errors from general play and a couple of terrible kicking mistakes from penalties. McGilvray plays it. Switch of play. Alexander to Brown, lurking on the left side of the ruck. Carter through the hands they go. Beckett had a small gap before Withers picks him up and dumps into the turn. An enthusiastic Tigers crowd here, cheering their side on. What a tackle from Stimson. Brought Adamson down as though he had an axe. Nevin goes forward, a slight fumble ruled, a knock back by Sean Hampstead.
Well, you can just see the enthusiasm that's involved in the defence in Balmain at the moment. Wayne Pearce's coach, I guess you'd learn to expect that from his players as well.
Right. Junior reborn out there. Terrific tackle in the mould of his coach from Stimson. Kennedy hands it off to Sirinen. What a work rate he's had in this opening 10 minutes or so now. Another gap. Dunley pours through, ranging up to lead in support. He runs past Jorgensen. Beckett comes across. He couldn't pick him up either. Back on the inside to Webber. They're 15 metres out, the Tigers. And the Panthers shot to ribbons. Dunley gets it away to O'Neill. Important tackle made. Intercept taken by Alexander. Now they spread the ball. The counter-attack from inside their own 20.
Yeah,
One end of the field to the other, Wally.
Yeah, I think they're doing exactly the wrong thing, Penrith, at the moment. Here they are tipping the ball around again, throwing it around. Said Domic being able to ask to make a couple of metres. They're not going to be able to match it with Balmain, in the fitness department. With Junior as coach, they're not going to be able to do it. They've got to try and slow the game down as much as they can, break it down and play it in stages. Work to a couple of different areas of the football field and play a very tight kicking game into the corners.
McGilvray to play it. To Brown. The clever ball player that he is, gets it away to Pulatua. So both coaches going to their bench after 12.5 minutes or so. A couple of changes for the Panthers. The young Pulatua, what a player of potential he is, as Webber now steps back towards the sideline.
Greg Alexander leaving the field from Penrith. That could be a major blow for the Panthers.
A slow play of the ball for the Tigers. Struggling back to his feet was Duckworth. Here is Duckworth rather now, sorry. It was Stimson, the player before. And there goes Greg Alexander up the tunnel. So that is a huge concern for Roy Simmons.
I think we might have seen the end of Brandy for the day. Normally if he was coming off, he'd just go and have a little look at the physio out in front, but he looks like he's left the field. Well, none of them will see him back.
Michael Gillette showed the ball, ran past Darren Brown. Knocked on by Bubba Kennedy. They had numbers, the Tigers, and here comes Jorgensen. Across the halfway line, Nevin is there to stop his progress in combination with the lower Milford, but it remains one end to the other here at Leichhardt. Plays it. Steve Carter to Tony Pulatua, who bumps away from Sinclair. Both sides almost out on their feet here. The action has been that frenetic. Yeah, I called you out,
Just a report on Greg Alexander. I think it could be a groin. They're just looking at it now as a groin injury, a strain on that. And talking about being out on their feet too, this ground's awfully heavy out here. You're going to find the pace of this game is going to take it out of the forwards. And as you saw before, Wally, that break was made up the middle because of the lack of lateral movement from the two front rowers from Penrith.
Yeah, and we've got to remember also, mate, talking about Greg Alexander, that he came back from that horrific set of injuries that he had last season. I don't think that Greg would admit himself that he's still 100%, and that groin injury that he's carried for a long time now is something that really could create a lot of doubt to the future of his career. Let's just hope everything's okay, and it's just going to be an injury that maybe at worst a week on the sidelines.
Well, Girdler is going to take the attempt here from the penalty. Get the Panthers on the board. You mentioned those injuries of Greg Alexander's last year. He broke both feet in that State of Origin, or the Tri-Series game rather, New South Wales versus Queensland in Super League. He carried an injury going into the game, broke the other foot during it, and that was the end of his 1997 season.
minutes into the first half at Leichhardt. And Ryan Girdler has no trouble edging the Panthers closer as the Tigers up 4 points to 2.
Well, we've just seen the teams, both teams, Warren, have a rest for about the last 30 seconds. That's the biggest break we've seen in the game so far. It has been played at breakneck pace. And again, I reiterate, I think we've got to see Penrith slow the game down. They're not going to be able to match it with Balmain. The Tigers are a little bit more, a little smaller a pack and a little fitter, I'd say. There's not too many people would disagree with that. They've got to try and slow it down, make sure that they play their own style of game with a heavier forward-pack style football.
Plenty of line breaks, most of them coming to Balmain. Michael Gillette has been dynamic at 5'8", as Nevin gets it back underway. A long kick, it might be too long, it is. Over the dead ball line on the fill.
How far did he kick that? I think it was a goal too, wasn't it? It went straight between the uprights.
Absolutely drilled it from the halfway line, but it'll be the Panthers now who'll have the penalty from halfway.
Well, there was a kick we saw. When I saw him lining up for the kick, he looked like, well, there it is. It's gone straight between the posts. A massive kick, but when Nevin lined up to kick off, he ran back about 10 or 11 metres.
Matt Adamson has made no mistake with this kick to the line. He almost put it on the grandstand roof on the western side. They take the tap. Here's Mark Geyer. Offloads for Steve Carter. A ball around the defence there, picked up by David Woods on in jumper 17. Coming on to replace Greg Alexander, forcing a reshuffle in the back line for the Panthers. Pooler Tua now up towards the 20. It takes plenty of defenders to bring him to ground. Carter at first receiver. There's Girdler. Take it directly in front of the post. Jorgensen away to Darren Brown, looking for runners. Penrith's real first chance deep on attack. Duncan McGilvray taken very high by Hudson Smith.
Come here. Come here, come here, come here. Yeah. Come here. It's come up high. It did. Yeah.
Because he's elbowing in the throat.
Well, he's still come up high. Just keep him down, right? Come up high.
Well, a claim there that there was an elbow used by the Penrith ball carrier. I think actually the referee, it didn't look like he was going to call that straight away. I think he might have got a bit of a whisper from the touch judge indicating to him that it was slightly high. But there it was. You can just see the left hand on his shoulder, whether that was actually used as a fault. Well, I don't think there's much doubt there that there was an elbow used to the throat. It didn't look anything like it. But then again, excuses are pretty good. We had plenty of them. Guys are going to use them full time, and I think it's going to soften the referee's approach to what they've just seen.
It gives the Panthers, of course, a chance to level up here, approaching the midway point of the first half. And I think, thankfully, both sides would agree the pace has slowed a couple of notches in these last few minutes because it was just going helter-skelter early on. Girdler from almost directly in front. Puts it over, and we're all tied up at Leichhardt. It's the Tigers and the Panthers, 4-all. Matthew Johns there looking on from the front of the grandstand here on the western side at Leichhardt. Peter Shields there as well, much travelled footballer, so of interested nights there looking on. I'm sure they're glad they're not out there at the moment as the restart comes down to Jason Williams, looking to make amends, I'm sure, for his mistake, which led to the Lower Milford try in the 7th minute of the game. Sid Domick now. Drew comes back to his right-hand side and gives it off to Matt Adamson. Played for Australia in Super League last year, Matt Adamson, looking to impress the selectors again in '98. With both factions back together. Brown stands before he was taken to the turf. And it's Adamson, that big left foot, getting plenty of height on it. It will bounce on the one hop. to the lower Milford. Oh, coming across the top very heavily was Darren Brown. Got a good shot away on Milford. Bubba Kennedy.
Boys, Greg Alexander's just got his groin strapped here. He's just warming up on the sideline. They're hoping to get him back out there as quick as they can.
Darren Brown again, another big tackle. That one on Shane Dunley. The lock forward fired up. Hudson Smith, who filled the role of dummy half last week with Adam Nagle being knocked out in the early moments of the game against the Bulldogs. Brad Drew there, almost coming up with the intercept.
A little bit fortunate for Balmain. At the moment that ball didn't go straight to hand. A bit difficult to judge the space that was available there on the replay, but Alexander, there he is, the big fella winding up, just trying to stretch it out, but I think you can see by the facial expression he's a little bit of discomfort there.
Kennedy tackled 10 metres on his own side of halfway. Milford now working with Gillette, and he's met by both Brett Boyd and Matt Adamson. Hometown crowd cheering for a Tigers penalty. Hudson Smith gets the treatment again from Boyd. Serenade cutting back in behind the ruck. A physical set of 6 here. Jody Rudd and jumper 16 for the Tigers gets them to the halfway line. And Gillette with a clearing kick over the head of Jorgensen. That with plenty of carry as well. Jorgensen goes back into his own goal. Almost 22 minutes gone. Nothing in it. It's 4 each between the Tigers and the Panthers. Williams will play it. Inside his own 20, Mark Geyer, who's been well contained, and that's why the Tigers have had numbers to him every time he's touched the football. Brown working to the blind side. Gerber looking for a quick pass.
Knock on by Balmain, knock on by Balmain.
Hampstead says it was the black and golds who forced the ball to ground.
Holly, they were lucky to get away with that. I mean, they're forcing passes where they just shouldn't be down this end of the park. The idea would be to get a good settled set of 6 and get a kick on the end of it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty indicative, though, Pete, isn't it? We showed the stats a little bit earlier. Penrith are the second highest point scorers in the competition, but they've got almost one of the worst defensive lines as well. But I think that's why they're sitting where they are. They're prepared to take chances, but when they get one that doesn't work off, they certainly pay for it and pay bad. But it's in a game now. It's a very tight situation. They've got to make sure that they settle down and just try and build a very strong foundation.
We saw Mark Geyer come from the field as Matt Adamson charges forward for the Panthers. Still 15 metres on their own side of halfway. Geyer came into this game with a hamstring injury. He was in some doubt up to last night. From what we saw in the opening 20 minutes, more than fit enough to take his place. Darren Brown, miscommunication there.
Alexander's back on now too, Warren.
So Brandy back out there. Try and pilot his team around the park. Nevin. Nice positional play by the Tigers fullback. Webber, the dummy half. A long pass for Milford. Coming in to give the forwards a bit of a breather. Dance back infield, but couldn't pick up many metres. Charging forward, James Gannon, the former Newcastle Knight. And now Rudd. He's brought the down. 15 metres on their own side of halfway. Siren working the short blind. Brown got up to meet him. On the last, Dunley hands it off to Gillette. Spiral punt again. Jorgensen got a hand to it. Hampstead rules not back. The crowd don't like it. Tough call for the referee. He went with the Panthers.
The crowd don't like T-bone steaks here at the moment, Warren. I think they might have had a little bit of little credit behind the complaint here at the moment. It really did look like it hit his hand and dropped straight down, but oh gee, you've got to slow that down frame by frame to actually judge whether the ball went backwards or forwards from first contact with his hand.
Phil Adamson stands, gets it away to Brett Boyd, a long pass to Darren Brown, but there's nobody outside him. There's Williams, the winger, tucked in behind the forwards. So after a fast opening to the game, it's turned into the proverbial arm wrestle. Pulatua, they couldn't drag him to ground. Alexander on the last tackle. Carter looked one way, a nice pass to Girdler. Now there's trouble. Webber, the flyer has it. They may not pick him up. Dominic is coming. He won't get him. Webber will score. Luck's a fortune, and Jason Webber makes the Panthers pay for yet another mistake.
Well, it was a very loose pass again. Straight to, well, the pass was okay, but it came off. Ryan Girdler, I thought, was the guy that actually dropped the ball. It's a couple of mistakes he's come up with. But if there's one guy who's got to give plenty of credit here, it's Peter Jorgensen. He made up an absolute mile of room to get across in cover defence. But probably ended up about 1 or 2 metres too short. Silly passes, though. Well, not the passes again. I'm sorry. It's the bad handling that's really costing though, Pete.
It is. Well, I think probably Ryan would have been regretting he wasn't a metre or two deeper on that pass from Stevie Carter. But again, you've got to give credit to Webber. I mean, he just honed in on it, and there was a way. It's probably where Balmain should have been, 10 minutes ago, Wally. There was a try that went begging earlier on, and that's probably a fair indication of the game at the moment.
Yeah, and there's probably one or two guys there asking themselves whether they made the right decision. Alexander, I guess, would be one of them. That was the 5th tackle. They had the option of kicking the ball, and I've got to admit that I was pretty surprised to see them run it, but they did have one man, an overlap of one man out on the left-hand side. Given time over again, though, I suppose it wouldn't be difficult to see what decision they make this time round. But that's footy. You make right and wrong decisions. Unfortunately, for the Penrith supporters, that one was in the bin.
Shannon Nevin, another difficult conversion attempt from wide out. 62% success rate in his career. The Tigers try scorers, Milford and Webber, haven't done him any favours by scoring wide out. This one barely easier than his first attempt. Takes a long look at it. Plenty of height. Has it got the legs? It has. They love it at Leichhardt. The Tigers lead the Panthers 10 points to 4. The Panthers really had nobody to blame but themselves. Without their mistakes, they'd be right in this. They probably would lead the game. Coming back infield for the Tigers was Jody Rudd. Comes back to Sinclair. He bounces away from one before being dragged down by Adamson and Boyd. Darting away, Dunley from dummy half. Duckworth is tackled. 8 metres short of the halfway line. Hudson Smith gets it up towards the 50. That's where he'll play it. Another penalty to Balmain.
Well, the Balmain crowd was certainly pushing the referee 2 or 3 tackles earlier, but there really couldn't be any complaint from the greatest Penrith supporter there. It was just an obvious example of them holding down, trying to slow down the Tigers' defence, but they're going to have to try and slow it down a little bit more, especially in the points department on the board.
Oh, mistake on the first tackle, would you believe? James Gannon coughed that up.
Oh, gee, that's a mistake that you really can't afford to come up with in the game. James would probably admit himself that he had a little bit of a peek both ways to see who was approaching him.
I think it was great pressure from Stevie Carter in that circumstance there, Wally. He put it right on him, didn't he?
Yeah, he sprinted out of the line. I guess he's one of the guys knowing that in the Penrith outfit, mate, that he's got to get out and lead by example. They're in a little bit of trouble here.
It's Carter it is. He'll play it just outside his own 20. Domic tackled low by Siren and Rudd across the top. To the right-hand side they come. Phil Adamson Oh, get that left arm free. He's so dangerous with it. But there was nobody on his outside. Oh, Sheridan got up to crunch Duncan McGilvray. You could hear the impact across the Parramatta River. Now Darren Brown steps through a tackle. The pass was behind Jorgensen. Play on, says Hampstead. Beckett pushes away from one.
Oh, gee, it was a great hit. Magnificent hit from Ciro. And I think the Balmain guys were still thinking about it 20 seconds later because it really opened up a huge hole. And to be very honest, Penrith should have scored. There was no doubt about that. Had the pass gone to hand, it was a certain 4-pointer.
Now some great play from the lower Milford. He took the ball a centimetre from the sideline and then beat 3 or 4 as well. Great work by the winger. And now an injury, and we'll have a halt to play. Jody Rudd is the player on the ground. He looks to have twisted a knee perhaps in that tackle. There was a number of players in there.
You've got to give McGilvray credit on that after that hit too. He was straight up, mate. He was just straight into the game for the next tackle.
Bad pair of knees there coming up. He doesn't look like he's real flash. But really it was a bombed opportunity for Penrith. There are a couple of chances that have come along for Penrith so far in this game and they've really wasted. Oh, look at that. Oh, pardon me, but
that was terrible.
I felt that.
Jody Rudd there hyperextending his knee, and that is terrible. Oh, you hate to see that in any form of sport. Oh, well, Jody Rudd. Words fail you in this situation. Terrible sight, that. And there was nothing he could do about it, just the weight and the balance from the tacklers going against him. He'll be stretched off and...
Well, as I mentioned before, mate, there's plenty of luck in the game. Unfortunately, not all of it is good luck. You see horrific injuries like that come around, and you've got to lend all your support you can to the players themselves who spend months and months in preparation for a full season of football, and just one little bit of bad luck can come along and almost finish a guy's content for the year. I mean, that looked terrible, and it was just all about a couple of guys pushing him one way and him trying to walk the other. That's terrible. You can understand exactly what happens, though, with the knee ligaments. They're very small things, not much wider than a ball of string. And
I didn't want to look the second time, and I forced myself to. I wish I hadn't.
Don't show it again, boys. There's two blokes up here that are doing it tough.
One on the sideline too, mate.
Oh, that
Jody
terrible.
Rudd stretch it off. He gets the cheers from the Balmain crowd. Everybody at Leichhardt very concerned for him, of course. That really was a terrible injury. Shane Walker, in the meantime, fired up perhaps. Storms past a couple of tacklers. Now O'Neill across the halfway line. Here come the Tigers. Smith is the dummy half. Sirenen, what an impact he's had in the first 40 minutes. On the last tackle, Dunley showing it short, ball to Stimson. Well tackled by Alexander. One to come now. This is the last. Great tackle by the halfback nonetheless. High ball, pressure to Jorgensen. He gets some support. It was good too. Williams, Carter and Woods forming his shield in front of Jorgensen on that occasion. And the fullback took it nicely. Domick now, working close to the ruck with a reshuffle in the Panthers pack. Drop ball, the Tigers swoop. Plenty of trouble coming up for Penrith again. 8 metres out, the Tigers. They lead by 6 points. Hudson Smith takes it up for a settler. Tries to play it quickly to Dunley. Going back on the inside was Duckworth. Here's Niven now, helping in. Walker stands in the tackle. He couldn't get the ball away. To the blind side they come. Gillette shaping the kick. Milford! Michael Gillette, the sleight of hand, and Milford goes in for his second try. He fooled everybody. They hung on, and they've been made to pay.
Well, he certainly played it very well there, didn't he? He made it look like it was going to be a grubber kick through. Milked it perfectly. Certainly put the defence in two minds. Threw a ball across. Greg Donaghy was just left in two minds. Well, actually, he's left on his back after he got beaten. But that was a perfect pass, Pete. They're taking their options and using them very well.
They are, and they're very controlled options too, aren't they, Wally? They're doing their foundation work. They're going forward. They're unloading in their right opportunity. They're taking everything that's right. But that's a great work. Gillette's just following on from his form from last week against Canterbury. Sensational hands.
Drew everybody. Like moths to the flame they were. They couldn't help themselves.
Again, possession coming to the Tigers through another mistake by the Panthers. There was a little bit of complaint going on from Sid Domick. He believed that he dropped the ball or had the ball ripped out of his hand. It was a situation that has now put an extra 4 points on the board. Here he is, Domick, moving into two defenders. Well, I don't think he could have too much complaint there. It really looked like that the tackler moving in was the one that forced the error. A simple body contact dropped the ball down, but it's one that has stretched the lead just over 5 minutes before half-time to 10 points. And the way that this bloke's kicking today, Shannon Nevin, he could kick this ball and it'll land in Sydney Harbour.
He takes his time about it as well. The previous conversion attempt, Jason Webber, it took him 2 minutes and 20 seconds to get the kick away from the time the try was scored. And this one, he's making doubly sure about as well. Has plenty of looks at it. Strikes it purely, but hooks it well wide in the end. But the Tigers on track to make it 4 wins from 5 games to start 98. They lead the Panthers 14 points to 4.
Well, we saw Penrith just a couple of matches ago, of course, when they clashed with the Broncos. They just got beaten by the Broncos, and they probably made 3 or 4 times as many errors as Brisbane did. I think this is just another almost trademark performance by Penrith. They were in the game. The errors are the ones that are pushing them further away.
Shane Walker plays it. Comes back to Duckworth. He's brought down midway between his own try line and the halfway line. Hudson Smith, met by Darren Brown. He's been busy in defence for the Panthers. Smith will play it eventually as Geyer forces him backwards. Plenty of feeling in this game today.
And we've got to remember, MG, of course, was a former Tiger himself. He'd certainly be looking forward to a victory here.
They go to the right-hand side, but Walker was cut down beautifully by Brett Boyd on the last tackle. A little disorganised, the Tigers there, and Smith was forced to kick from dummy half. Well, coming through quickly was Michael Withers. In the end, Robbie Beckett really had to hurry to pick that one up. The Tigers now looking to contain Penrith at this end of the field where they've made plenty of mistakes. And it's cost them plenty of points. Matt Adamson will play it back to Brad Drew. On the blind side, Brown. Tackled by Walker with Gillette across the top. Alexander at first received a beautiful spiral pass to Steve Carter. Another pass which doesn't find the hands initially, but Robbie Beckett leaps and then gets a great pass to Ryan Gerber. He was brought down on the far wing. Dunley, the halfback, got there. Carter works a short line, kicks for himself. It comes off plenty of feet. And in the end, the Tigers are going to clean up through Dunley. Steve Carter took a chance, working a minusculely small blind side. It almost paid off for him.
He took the right option. Running up the blind side was a very clever move. Fortunately, just a little bit of luck. Carter there was claiming that the player was actually offside. And on the replay, it really did give a little bit of weight to his, little bit of his credit there. It looked like the guy was 2 or 3 metres behind the play.
Another big kick from Michael Gillette. Looking for the touchline. Good thing Jason Williams picked it up because that may well have been a 40-20 had it gone over the touchline. Jorgensen in the meantime will play it. Alexander away to David Woods, playing his 100th first-grade game today. 3 with the Panthers, 97 of them with Parramatta before that. Here's Brown, standing and offloading to Carter. Gets it away to NG, who flips a wild ball out the back.
Oh, Dunley was there. Balmain will get the ball nonetheless. A crazy pass from Mark Geyer. It has his side under plenty of pressure. Stimson will play it. Nevin at first receiver. On the run around from Hudson Smith. Gillette was a little flat-footed, not expecting the ball perhaps. He's tackled 30 out. Dunley. And now O'Neill. Another settler for the Tigers. Just over a minute and a half left before half-time. A good short ball, but well tackled was Duckworth by Carter and Boyd. Now the Tigers disorganised on the last tackle. It's going to be Seaman who puts the ball in the air. He gets the Bronx cheer from the crowd here at Leichhardt. It falls for David Woods.
Well, I'm glad his supporters enjoyed the kick because it was an absolute shocker. But he got the job that was required to actually clear it and not simply hand over possession. Important, though, for Penrith, they don't come up with any errors here. Just over a minute to go before half-time.
And they've got more than 60 metres to go if they're to score a 4-pointer. They haven't been able to do so. The Tigers' defence has been good. But the mistake rate from Penrith has let them off the hook a number of times. Williams now driven backwards. Alexander trying to get something going. They're happy to spread the ball at every opportunity, Penrith, but it hasn't worked for him yet. Geyer will play it with Duckworth doing the flop backwards off him. Girdler kicked it out the back, or flipped it out the back rather. It comes to the Tigers, so Penrith have given them one last shot before the break. Ah, Domic hit Dunley very high as he tracked the crossfield. All's fair in love in war, says Hampstead. It's Kennedy now. Walker. Away to Gillette. There's not much gas in the tank. This will be the last tackle for the Tigers. They're going to go for the field goal. Nevin didn't strike it well. That will roll across the dead ball line as the siren sounds for half-time. Everybody on their feet at Leichhardt. They like what they've seen from their side in the first 40. And they'll go to the Sheds leading by 10 points. 14 points to 4 in favour of the locals. A crackerjack half of football, if you like, entertainment. It may not have been purest stuff, but there was plenty of entertainment.
We feel like a cold meal, we feel like a juicy steak at any time.
And we'll take a break from Leichhardt. When we come back, the Tigers lead the Panthers 14 points to 4.
The Tigers since 1992.
From NEC, we bring you a big 516-litre frost-free refrigerator. This versatile energy-saving refrigerator comes with a Fuzzy Logic multicoloured front control panel for automatic control of the fridge and freezer settings. Big freezer, big fridge, big features. Small Harvey Norman price, just $12.95. When it comes to NEC, come to Harvey Norman.
Everybody loves Harvey Norman.
We'll be singing when we're winning. We'll be singing. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. We love the Raiders, we love the Magpies, Sharkies, we love the Broncos.
I love my team when they're going through the good times. I love my team when they're going through the bad times.
We love the Knights, we love the Dragons, we love the never gonna keep me down. We love the Warriors, we love the Chargers, we love the never gonna keep me down. We love the Cowboys, we love the Roosters, we love the Tigers, we love the Eagles, we love the Steelers, we love the Rabbitohs, we love the Eagles, keep me down.
What a night for Brisbane! Newcastle have won the grand final!
But I get up again, you're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
I love my footy.
next weekend on Fox Sports. Crunch time for traditional rivals Queensland and New South Wales. Both sides have struck form and meet in a classic Super 12s encounter, exclusively live. From Sharjah, a one-day international doubleheader. Don't miss a ball when Australia take on New Zealand and India, exclusively live. And the rev counter keeps ticking with exclusive live coverage of all classes of the Malaysian Grand Prix. That's next weekend on Fox Sports.
Here at Leichhardt, it is half-time. The home team in front. Balmain, 14, lead Penrith 4. The try scorers in the first 40 minutes. The lower Milford, 2 terrific tries. Jason Webber, an opportunist try off a drop ball from the Panthers. Shannon Nevin, 1 from 3 in the goal-kicking department. Penrith's only points coming from the boot of Ryan Girdler, who kicked 2 from 2. It really was terrific pace to open the game. Both sides going hammer and tongs early on. Wally Lewis, it all started as far as the scoring with this piece of work here on the blind side from the scrum.
Yeah, pretty surprised, in fact, that Jason Williams missed that tackle. He's a guy that's got enormous experience, club international experience. He put his opposition wing exactly where he wanted, but still missed quite a simple tackle. Penrith getting back, though, they really looked like they were going to come back with a little bit of a danger, but tipping the ball over like that, there was going to be no chance of coming back into the game. Simple errors. Ryan Girdler is absolutely having a shocker at the moment. Wouldn't be the one he'd like to remember. There's some real speed being showed from the young boys. And
Jason Webber there going 70 metres or so to score and put the Tigers back in front. And here was the third try they scored. Michael Gillette dummying, showing it beautifully, and David Woods was drawn in and Milford was on the outside of him. Woods had no chance to pick him up. As we take a look at the stats, you'll see their possession a big factor, 57% of the Tigers. The Panthers, they'll never win a game of football with only 43% of the football.
You can't do that. It's absolutely impossible. But you've also got to remember the time that they've had the football. More than half of that has been in their own line, and it's very difficult to try and take the ball away from your own area of the football field. You're giving up the opportunities to try and come up with chances like that, and also they're not coming up with any breaks in the line. Balmain way in front in that department.
The Tigers 7 line breaks to the Panthers 3, and that must be a huge concern, Peter Mulholland, for Roy Simmons.
Yeah, it must be, mate, Danny. I'm sorry I'm having a lot of trouble hearing, but what you're saying too is right. They're having a lot of problems with ball handling. The possession is going to be vital. In this half, they really need to take a control. My only worry about Balmain, Warren, would be the fact that there's no special dummy half down there as they get tired. And you saw in that last 5 minutes of the first half, as they began to tire, whoever was taking them in to dummy half, or whoever's playing at dummy half, just lacked that little bit of organisational ability. So Penrith have got probably 14 more points in them, on their record this season to score. So anything could happen if Balmain lose that focus around the rucks.
Well, mate, the way I see it, it really has got to be a situation that Penrith have got to try a few different types of attack. They seem to be just throwing the ball around similarly the way that they've always played the game. Balmain, though, with such a strong discipline in defence with Pearce as coach, they've got to try and, I suppose, upset that a little bit, taking the ball across, turning balls on the inside, or run-around plays, one that's going to put each defender in 2 minds every time he's confronted with an attacking player.
I think the big thing, Wally, too, is that they changing direction out here on this pitch too. It's quite slippery underfoot. You change direction like that, you've got every chance of beating a man.
Which welcome to Leichhardt Oval, Costa Zoo.
So the cheerleaders leave Leichhardt Oval. We're at half-time here. The Tigers in front by 10 points. When we come back to Leichhardt, they'll be out with 40 minutes left to see if they can make it. 4 wins from 5 matches.
Congratulations.
From NEC, we bring you a big 5/16-litre frost-free refrigerator. This versatile energy-saving refrigerator comes with a fuzzy logic multi-coloured front control panel for automatic control of the fridge and freezer settings. Big freezer, big fridge, big features. Small Harvey Norman price, just $12.95. When it comes to NEC, come to Harvey Norman.
Everybody loves Harvey Norman.
During April, Arena Film Festival brings you art house films that have captivated audiences in festivals and theatres around the world. Jean-Luc Godard weaves a brilliant fable of Greek myth and modern tragedy when Jack Palance and Brigitte Bardot star in the arena premiere of Les Mépris. Enter the 21st century with Arena's Film Festival. Ursula Andress and Marcello Mastroianni engage in the ultimate game of cat and mouse in the cult classic The 10th Victim. Joanna Lumley cultivates a gloriously cheeky mix of ancient curses and rural mayhem in the Australian television premiere of Cold Comfort Farm. And hold all calls for the comedy about the communication age, where people seem to be doing everything but communicating. Denise Calls Up is a modern tale about life, love and hang-ups. During April, experience the best in art house films from around the world with Arena Film Festival.
Sunday morning, the NBA on Fox Sports 2.
No pain, no gain.
It's game of the week time. They're pumped up, they're making the plays, they're in your face and getting mean with the biggest jams around. Orlando head north for a date with Chicago. The Magic are still chasing a playoff berth as the tension builds in the East. Can they halt the marauding Bulls, or will Chicago once again storm through to the playoffs? Check out the NBA Chicago-Orlando Sunday morning, 11:30, only on Fox Sports 2.
Welcome back to Leichhardt, and an interested spectator, a Balmain fan for the day at least, is Kostya's you, who last week, of course, at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, knocked out Calvin Grove of America in the first round. Kostya now back on track for an IBF junior welterweight title shot, perhaps. And today, he's watching his side, the Tigers, get plenty of shots away on the Panthers. The dressing room of Balmain, and Wayne Pearce there has the forwards huddled, just handing out some last instructions to them.
Yeah, I was going to say, that pretty much tells the real story of the game, doesn't it? They've got a forward pack there that really sticks together. Junior over on the right-hand side there, laying down the law, probably not telling them exactly what to do, but in Wayne Pearce style, asking them to give him a performance that they'd be happy with, and so would he. The backs themselves know that any back line really do capitalise on what the advantages that the forward pack give you during a football game, and every time that they've been given a fair chance to come up with points in the game, the back line Sparkies, that they've done very well for themselves, and really they look like a guys that have got a fair bit more experience on board than when you have a look at the names in the program.
It mightn't be too much longer before some of those names, which haven't had a lot of representative experience, finally do get to taste some. They keep racking up wins the way they have been to start 1998. Well, this camp, haven't they got their work cut out? Probably their worst half of football in 98, and really, they're lucky to be trailing only by 10 points, because it really could have been anything. The Tigers due to come back out onto Leichhardt.
Interested to see what Roy Simmons does with his back line at the moment. They have fallen down in a couple of particular areas. Their inside defence on the edge of their left-hand side ruck has been a little bit ordinary. But when Balmain are shifting the ball to their right-hand side, or the Panthers' left field defence has been a little bit shoddy. But the mistakes also on that side of the field really have been the ones that have been upsetting, I suppose, to everybody that supports Penrith. In particular, Ryan Gerber. I think we might get the chance to see him switch around a little bit, perhaps even move into 5'8". Carter going to halfback, while Brandy has a bit of a break every now and then.
The captain, Paul Sirenen, 14 tackles and 7 hit-ups in a great first half from the captain. Came up with a huge hit also on Duncan McGilvray in that first half. One of the biggest tackles we've seen so far in 1998. He really rattled the bones of McGilvray. Have a look at this.
He's rattled his own neck there for a while. I think Silo, while he's taking all the applaud and credit that people are giving him from that tackle, he probably got up thinking, well, it looked good for me, but gee, I'll give myself a workout as well. There's the big fella, though, that I think really controls a little bit of the question for the Panthers. He's got to lead from the front and demand a little bit of respect from his opponents. Turn him around. make sure that he opens up some areas that players like Alexander and Carter can cash in on.
There is Duncan McGilvray, quite possibly still seeing stars after that hit from Sheridan. The second 40 minutes commences. Shannon Nevin, a low grubbing kick along the ground as Leichhardt becomes a little bit overcast at the moment. Adamson plays it. Here is McGilvray tracking wide, wrapped up by Duckworth. Boyd looking for runners. There were none coming, so he takes it himself. A bumping, bruising run, hung onto it just barely. Drew now at dummy half. So a couple of regular hookers out there on the field for the Panthers at the moment. Darren Brown searching run again. Chris Sinclair made the tackle around the legs. A good thing too, because there was support for Brown. Nevin will wait for it. Lets it bounce back to almost his own try line. He'll play it 12 metres out. And you would expect that the Panthers need to be the team to score first in this second half. Kennedy now with the ball in one arm, running and picking up 12 metres or so. Cutting back, keeping the arms free is Stimson. Stood there for a long time before he went to ground. Here's Sheridan again now, carting it up towards the halfway line. Sinclair the dummy half. Gillette switches the play to Dunley. He gets the kick in. It bounces up for Jorgensen. A couple of Tigers there to meet him, Gillette included. And on the sideline is the assistant coach of the Penrith Panthers, Len Stacker. Len, what was Roy Simmons' words at half-time? Ashore he was very unhappy with your side's first 40 minutes.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he wasn't all that unhappy, except for the fact that he was saying that we're too good a side to start doing risky things early in the tackle count and to do chancy things. It's just to be a bit more patient, because if we're patient, we've got the footballers there to capitalise on teams if they have to keep tackling us. So, you know, not just to worry too much about things, but just keep doing your field position calls and just keep going at them, and the chances will come for us.
Len, what about the injury to Greg Alexander? Is it serious?
It looks at this stage it's in the groin area. He's certainly not 100%, but he feels that he'll be able to just, he still might be some use in this game.
Len, thanks for your time. Good luck in this second 40.
Thank you.
The Tigers with it, 10 metres on their own side of halfway. Chris Sinclair will play it. Sheridan on the wraparound. Milford stands in the tackle before Williams is there. A cumbersome play of the ball, and Hampstead gives the Tigers a penalty.
There it is.
Yeah, not clearing the ruck on that occasion by Jason Williams. His foot actually knocking the ball out of the way of the Tigers' ruck. That's one area that I'm sure Coach Roy Simmons will have been unhappy with. I'm a bit surprised to hear Lenny Stacker say that Royce wasn't all that unhappy. Giving away simple areas like that, particularly when they're giving them away on 4th and 5th tackles, is something that I believe the coach would bring him to almost boiling point.
Sheridan will play it 35 metres out from the Panthers' try line. Dunley steps off his left foot, comes back to the open side. Walker goes to Gillette. The birthday boy, he turned 25 years of age yesterday, and what a game he's having to celebrate it today. Dunley, cut-out ball. Met was O'Neill, shrugged away from Girdler, got a good pass to Webber. Cutting back inside was Withers, tackled by Beckett. It needed to be made as well. Dunley now with the Panthers stretched, a long pass for Gillette. Stimson outside him, gets it back on the inside, coming back on the angle. Stimson will play it there. They go to the left-hand side again. Gillette with Milford outside him, stepping and almost getting across the line with lower Milford. Looking for his third at Leichhardt. On the last tackle now. It goes to the end. Nevin with the high ball, basically across field. Flying high was Robbie Beckett, who tried to punch the ball AFL style. Now he gets it back after Girdler slipped a pass. Risky play by Robbie Beckett. On the sideline, joining us now as the Panthers try and work it away from their own territory. They spread the ball again. Bill Anderson for Balmain. Bill, what a first 40 minutes from your side. I'm sure Wayne Pearce was happy with what he saw.
I think he was happy with most aspects of our play. Our defence was pretty good. Our kicking game was good. We kept getting the ball over the fullback's head and making them go back. Our completions weren't so great when we got in good attacking positions, but I suppose what we're after is more of what we saw in the first 40 minutes.
Bill Junior's a guy that probably would demand from his players a first-class effort. You can't be too critical of them on that. Every time that they've been asked to come up with something special, they look like they've done it a perfect defensive record.
Yeah, they did, Wally. I suppose the only thing was we're only leading, 14-4, and we did make most of the running. Penrith is still in touch. I thought we had a couple of chances to maybe put them away.
Bill, thanks for your time. We'll let you get back to the coaching duties on the bench. Sean Hampstead now is going to rule a penalty towards Balmain. It was a heart-stopping moment for them as there was a deflection there.
Tiger in a change, number 14, James Gannett.
On the last tackle, Ryan Girdler put the kick in. And then Michael Withers it was who cleaned up. So a relieving penalty for the Tigers. Coming forward now. 15 metres away from the halfway line is James Gannett. Mark O'Neill beats the tackle of Brett Boyd. Now Dunley looming up. Hit very heavily by David Woods.
Come here, Mark. Come here, you. Come here.
Stimson was the man who was hit.
Come here. Okay. No, they're not. No, listen to the crowd. Just wait. Right, just give me cut. Right. That was. I'm not. No. Come here, Steve. Steve. You can certainly I'll give you a good go today. I'm not. Yeah, I know. Just keep him down. That one over there, mate. Yeah, well, that's not what I saw, right? Keep him down. It wasn't too bad, was it? Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but keep him down.
The apology coming from David Woods. He realised it was a little bit high, and there it is again. He was coming in trying to cut the ball off because the Tigers had numbers to their left, and Woods snuffed it out but gave up a penalty. The Tigers have it 30 metres out from the Panthers line. Spreading it to the right-hand side. Shane Walker, who's been looming out wide all day. Gillette now. Walker, another ball. Cuffed around the collar. Darren Brown tackled Dunley there. Got him by the jumper, nothing wrong with it. Duckworth. Numbers for the Tigers again. Webber. A good tackle coming across and cover was Duncan McGilvray. Here's Duckworth. Working it quickly, picks up 10 metres. And the Tigers are fanned out to the left-hand side. Long pass from Dunley to Gillette. Bobbled it, stepped back inside a couple. Short ball on the left-hand side, did look forward.
Gee, that's forward.
Hampstead says play on though. Dunley, they go to the left-hand side again. Perhaps too many players out there, everybody in the queue for Balmain. I'll have one more shot of it. Chris Sinclair ducking away from dummy half. On the last tackle, perhaps putting it through the hands would have been a better option.
Well, obviously angles are a little bit difficult to judge. So both of us thought that ball was quite cleanly forward. But some real desperation defence being shown by Penrith. They really need to come up with something, though, that's going to create difficulty for the Balmain defence. At the moment, they're not doing that whilst demanding safety from the footballer.
Here's Darren Brown. Angling. Getting it to Carter, to Ryan Girdler. Back to Carter now across the halfway line. Good pass to Robbie Beckett. He stands. Gets away from the tackle before he's brought down 32 out from the Tigers line. Now Girdler wants to get into a little bit of fisticuffs with Michael Withers amongst others. They need to settle down the Panthers and play football here. Brad Drew gets it to within 25 of the Tigers line. Boyd. Away to Geyer. Basketball pass to the shorter man. The Tigers will get it. It will be a knock-on on the last tackle, and there is the changeover. Well, some ill-discipline there creeping into the Panthers game. A terrible mistake from the play the ball. And Penrith get it back. What a game this is at Leichhardt. I can't believe it.
Jeez, I've never seen that before.
It's had everything. Dummy. He'll play it 8 metres out. Wayne Pearce will be reaching for the heart pills. Darren Brown gets it to Jorgensen. An overlap out there. They recover the Tigers. Still 15 away from the Tigers try line. Darren Brown, a short pass. A flat pass rather. A long ball. 6 to go now for the Panthers.
Hands up here, hands up.
So
Even more pressure for Balmain. Drew plays it to Brown. Cut out pass. Didn't go where it was intended. They turn it over with a full set of 6 to come. Well, you have to feel for both coaches here. They'll be heading straight for the gap to drive their cars off at the way both these teams are going. The turnovers have been coming incredibly quickly.
Yeah, you can understand what Penrith are trying to come up with there at the moment, running the ball on the short-hand side, but they've really got to make sure there's the one that provided the chance on that occasion. James Gannon, the one coming up with the mistake. Penrith running the ball wide, though. They had probably 1 or 2 man overlap, but they've got to remember, when they run the ball, they don't have to score off every single tackle, which is the problem they've got at the moment. They've got 50 minutes on the slate at the moment into a game, and they haven't scored a try, which for a team, it's the second highest point score in the competition, is a real surprise.
All right, you are. Sean Hampson with his hands full getting that scrum set. The Tigers win it. Michael Gillette almost getting away.
Come here.
More problems for Penrith.
No. That's going on report. Darren, come here. You came straight in on top of him like that with it. Straight on report, right? You're going on report. 13's on report.
Well, claiming that both forearms were used in the tackle there. Quite clear on the message from the referee what he thought. The player not held, coming down. It really looked like that some part of the arms hit him. I'll leave that for the bosses in the tree, the 3 wise men, to make their own mind up on that one.
I'm sure they'll take a very close and long look at that. So more trouble for Penrith. Sirenen now hits it up. The Tigers forward pack yet again have more than held their own. Here's Duckworth. A couple off the ruck. Tackled on his own side of halfway. Hudson Smith. He's met by Geyer. The big man looking for a shot. Duckworth now. A good hit up by the lock forward. Gillette at first receiver to Dunley. Running in behind Stimson. Kicking for lower Milford. He put plenty of pressure on Jason Williams out there.
He's called a knock on.
And he's forced a mistake as well, the winger. Milford has had it all over Williams this afternoon at Leichhardt.
Gee, there's going to be a little bit of argument over whether there actually was a knock-on from here. Jason Williams believes that he was running backwards. How could he knock the football on? Of course, it is still possible to knock the ball or force it towards the other try line. The referee believing that the ball, when it went down, well, gee, it really looked like it's gone down. It rolls forwards. Of course, it is permissible for the ball to roll forward after it's hit the ground.
Decide for yourself on the knock-on, but here's the Tigers. Bubba Kennedy at dummy half. Probing for a couple of metres. To the blind side. Mark O'Neill storms onto it. Throws it back on the inside. Alarm bells ringing for the Panthers as Smith is tackled a couple of metres out. Dunley. Cut-out pass. Gillette was met very quickly by Brad Drew, who came up out of the line. He cut it off, and it needed to be cut off as well. Now they continue to go left. Dunley grubbering. Towed by Sidomic. Oh, and he got across the cream. Kennedy was it who took it. 6 to go is the ruling from Hampstead, of course. Now Milford. He's tackled 10 metres out. The Panthers hanging on by a fingernail. Smith gives it away to Greg Donaghy on the field. Smith again at dummy half. They're deep and wide. Jason Webber got around Steve Carter, who raced up out of the line, but Carter did enough to take the momentum away from him. Withers is the dummy half. O'Neill, cut-out pass again. Dunley gets past Mark Geyer. He got past everybody. Didn't quite make it to the try line, though.
Great tackle by... Oh, no.
And we're going to have somebody in the bin. Puatua threw the hand out to stop the play. A professional foul, and Hampstead puts him in the bin as a consequence. The Tigers might elect to keep it going, but they decide to take the 2 points, which will put them out
by 2 converted tries.
So, you know, we're going to see 2 points almost certainly added to the Balmain scoreboard at the moment. It was some very brave defence. It was a magnificent tackle by him originally to deny the try. Look at that, there's 3 blades of grass in it. Laying on him just a little bit too long to deny the try. He stood there, reached out. Well, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Pete, you would have seen that down the sideline. He's standing on the try line. And once the ball has cleared the ruck, it is fair play for a guy to make play at the ball.
That's
now,
a really hard
call. He's picked it up at dummy half and gone to throw it.
That's a ridiculous call. I think that guy... Nothing, absolutely. All that should have been was 6 again for Balmain.
That's crazy. He stood on the line and reached out, so he's basically telling him there he can't reach out and stop a man playing at the ball.
The real easy move forward as soon as the ball hits the ground. The guy was right within his rights to do what he did in that.
Oh, gee, I tell you what, Penrith have got a real reason to complain here.
Shannon Niven is going to pot this over, barring a catastrophe. He does so, and the Tigers lead by 12. 25 minutes left in the game. It's Balmain 16 to Penrith's 4.
Gee, I've got to give credit to both teams leading up to that. There it is. Look, he's simply passing the ball from dummy half. Now, the man there that was Pilatua was penalised for it. He's plain and simple standing on the line there. So he can't be offside. There is no way in the world that the ball has cleared the ruck and he's picked it up to throw it. Well, I think the referee better get the hands ready. He'll be going straight to the principal office on Monday night with 6 of the best. He's getting the lot.
It didn't take long in 98 for you to bag a referee. Geez, you love it, don't you?
Well, why wouldn't I? That was a ridiculous call. There's no way in the world that was. But getting back to the point, both teams, the Tigers and Penrith, deserved a lot of credit just before that. They really had managed to handle the ball, control the ball well, Balmain. And Penrith were at 6s and 7s for probably 16, 17 tackles in a row. Neither party gave up. It's a great contest.
Still is a terrific contest out here. But you feel the Panthers need to be the next team to score as Hudson Smith works it away from dummy half. It comes to Mark O'Neill. A good offload standing in the tackle. Dunley, who's been standing behind the forwards all day waiting for those offloads and has made plenty of inroads as a consequence. He lost the ball in the end. The Panthers will have it on halfway. McGilvray, Smith got up and hit him with a big shot. He won't know where he is by the end of this game. Matt Adamson.
Have a look at that Balmain defensive line. That is first class. They've been coming up all night long, all day long. They don't look to have come out of the line probably more than once or twice all afternoon.
Sid Domic now tackled by Sirenen. Wrestled to the ground. They have been rock solid, the Tigers, in defence. Carter spreads it to Brown. Remembering he's been placed on report. Got a good ball away to Brett Boyd. Just the fullback to beat. Nevin made the tackle. Boyd got up to go again. Now Gerber at dummy half. Runs it quickly. Gets it away and they score. Darren Brown crashes over. Hampstead will point to the spot. The Panthers are well and truly alive. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, they are. I was just halfway through saying that's a great play, the ball. He took the ball up. He hardly hit the line before he was on his way back to the feet. Here it comes. A shift across. Some terrific work from Brown there to hold the ball up and offload it. Some simple play, no panic. Simply got to his feet as quickly as he possibly could, although he seemed to be tackled again. Some great support play there.
Wally, that all comes again, doesn't it? From just controlling it. Penrith for the first time have really controlled the ball in this set of 6, and it's great work. But as you said before, there's not a lot of yards on the inside or the outside. They're going through the line now. And Brown, with his little offloads, is going to be a very, very vital man in this last 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's right, Peter. I mean, he's been alive with those offloads all day long. And I think one guy that they've got to pay a fair bit of credit to, Penrith as well, has been Steve Carter. Although we've seen the 2 points posted at the other end of the field by Balmain just a few minutes ago, he was responsible for probably 2 or 3 try-saving tackles, sprinting out of the line to stop them on other occasions, using his brains to stay back and realising that probably would have been the worst thing he could have done to lead the line. He hung back. He's been invaluable for these blokes today, and you can just see why. He's got that C letter next to his name in the program. A captain is about all of that sort of stuff. He realises when his team are doing it tough, and he's been worth 100, well, not 100 points, he's been worth probably 10 points for them today if they get to win this football game.
Girdler trying to get them back with a converted try. He puts it through and does so. The Tigers have had their lead cut in half. They lead Penrith 16 points to 10 with just over 20 minutes left here at Leichhardt.
Wally, we could have bagged the referee for this too. I mean, we did bag him on that last decision to pull it to, but they played the ball before this on Boyd. Balmain player picked him up, put him down the second time, but the referee played advantage and the try was allowed.
Yeah, he's done pretty well there. I mean, a guy like this is just coming into senior grade football and got enormous amounts of credit to live up to. It's certainly a difficult position for him, but well, I guess when you played or when you're in the middle of two packs of forwards that played the game hard, straight, and certainly don't ask or beg, it's a difficult job. But he's done it quite well this afternoon, except for one decision.
That you're not very happy about, but haven't these packs of forwards been going at it all day? And here again, Matt Adamson just charging head first into them. Sid Domick has been called on to do a lot of work around the ruck.
Yeah, well, of course, Sidney Domick, mate, was a lock forward when he came to the Brisbane Broncos. Played enormous amounts of football in the forwards and only really started playing in the centres when he found it a little bit too hard to break into the Broncos forward pack line-up in first grade.
Well, he's back there today because John Cross is off with a bad medial strain. They're down to 2 interchange players, Penrith.
A kick slewing off the side of the boot comes down to Michael Weathers. He'll do well to stay in the field of play here. He did so. Girdler came in, try and help Robbie Beckett, push him across the touchline on the western side of Leichhardt. Now Jason Webber tracks it back to the safety of the midfield. Mark O'Neill stepping off his right foot to his second row partner Stimson now. Another good inroad made by this Balmain forward pack. The second rowers have been great. Dunley running quickly at them. Carter, another important tackle on Hudson Smith, who stands yet again himself. Sinclair will play it back to Dunley. Sirenen pushing away from Brown. Numbers out wide for the Tigers. They've got them stretched. A great pass from Gillette to Milford. He gets past them. He's going to make it a hat-trick. The Tigers have responded through Laloa Milford. The attacking spearhead for them this afternoon at Leichhardt. And they lead the Panthers again by 10 points.
Well, a very clever offload. Really set it up. We saw on that occasion where Drew came out of the line, came out too quickly and really opened up opportunities out wide. Simple weight of numbers. Gave Balmain the opportunity to post another four-pointer.
What a great game the big fella's had, Wally, with this unloading. He's just taking players on. He's taking 2 Penrith defenders out of the line each time. But Milford's had a picnic down this left side for Balmain today.
And he stayed in the field of play by about a stud width on the bottom of the boot. That's all he needed. And aren't they happy? Michael Gillette, what a game he's had. Laloa Milford, an afternoon out that he'll remember. 3 tries for the black and golds. Gets the low 5s from Bubba Kennedy.
That was a great reply, Wally, to that try of Penrith, wasn't it? That's a good side that can do that.
And do it so quickly. That's probably the important thing. I guess a lot of people would have been interested to see just whether Balmain started to panic a little bit there. They don't have all that many experienced players on board. Ciro's a guy that's got plenty of games behind him. But the way that they managed to just settle down, hold it together, and make sure that they had this ball security in that next set of 6 was probably the most impressive point of the lot.
Here's Nevin. Hawking it back. Hawking it back. He's kicked it.
He's getting boring, this bloke, watching him kick goals. Does he ever miss them?
Well, the Panthers clawed it back to within 6. Now it's out to 12 just as quickly.
And it really is. It's going to be interesting to see next time Balmain get inside the opposition half, whether they decide to try and tie things up with a little bit of security with a field goal. Of course, with Nevin in behind there, he's a guy that can slot him from anywhere.
Here's Shane Walker. They've gone mad in the stands here in Leichhardt. They're loving it. Hudson Smith takes it up to the 30. He'll play it there. Chris Sinclair, his first grade debut. He's tackled. Sirenen through Stimson to Gillette. 20 metres short of the halfway line. Bubba Kennedy running and going straight through them. Milford cuts back on his inside. Can he make it 4? The pass went to ground from Kennedy. Milford was thinking, I'll get a handful here today.
Yeah, it was a pretty ordinary defensive effort. I think it was Brown that opened up the chance for him. But that's what Wayne Pearce will be talking about, I'm sure, in the next week. While his team's done very well and more than likely to win the game, opportunities like this, even though that the result looks in the bag, they can't afford to go throwing away. He'd be advising them just to play safe, make sure that they take it, and that's on the field. Ciro didn't like it.
Matt Adamson exchanging blows with Paul Sirenen. It ended as quickly as it started. Well, Costa's using the crowd here today.
Forget about it. Seriously, come out.
Maybe he's had a bit of an effect on the big men.
Come here. Stand up. I had the penalty. It's no good to tell him what he did, right? Just stand it back, right? Just stand it back. Yeah, right. Ciro, you've come in for the second go. Right? You got.
Yeah, Balmain clearly the aggressor.
Okay, yeah. Ciro, just settle down, right? I had the penalty, step it away, right? Right, you know how to do it, right? Settle down.
The referee sounded as knocked up as anybody there. Why the crowd won't enjoy that? I think Ciro had probably put his own hand up there, or he'd admit that he was the instigator of that.
They came together very heavily. Ciro went on with it and then gave him a couple more, and Matt said, well, that's enough for me. Let's have a little go at it. Anyway, the Panthers on the attack. 25 out from the Tigers line, needing to score quickly. 15 minutes left. Pulatua put it down on the first tackle. Oh, Roy Simmons. He'll be looking for Valiums now. Some more heavy work. Phil Adamson in there with Ryan Girdler, and Shane Walker giving Ryan Girdler a couple of words to go on with as well.
Hands off now, hands off. Hands off, hands off now, hands off, hands off. Roll away.
Here's Ciro. They all came up to get him very quickly. Matt Adamson wasn't there, but his teammates are trying to get one back for him. Duckworth will play it. Sinclair away from dummy half, picked off by Girdler. On the last tackle. Dunley kicking from the halfway line. Down to Jason Williams. Jorgensen comes across. It is the winger who picks it up and is tackled by the 5'8", Michael Gillette.
Balmain, number 14, James Cannon, and number 12, Mark O'Neill.
13 and a half minutes left in Leichhardt. Here is Matt Adamson. Tackled by Mark Stimson. They spread it on just the third tackle. Brown, a long pass. And Sid Domick is met by a couple, including Jason Webber. Carter now. Here's Pulatua, who made the mistake at the other end of the field. Still 12 metres on their own side of halfway. On the last tackle, Brad Drew. He puts boot to ball. A high kick, which bounces room service style for Shannon Nevin. Beats Carter, going to his right-hand side. Almost got past Girdler. Well, the Panthers need to calm it down here.
Come here, Steve, come here. Come here, come here. Come here, you. Yes, you. All right, now, right. You're starting to get very... Stand up, stand up. You're starting to get very, very silly. That's all. That's it, right? No more. Steve, come here, Steve. Come here. Yeah. Go back and tell them to settle down. They're starting to get really stupid. Yeah, go and tell them to settle down, right?
April, 2 weeks from tonight, 7:30.
Well, you've got to agree with Sean Hampstead. The Panthers have been looking for big hits. Phil Adamson there came in after the tackle was affected. Girdler made it on Nevin. And Adamson came in, wanted to go on with it, push him a little bit. Now here he is, making a tackle on James Gannon. Mark O'Neill takes it to the line where he's tackled by Brett Boyd. Sinclair at dummy half. Gannon to the right. stood and offloaded. Got it away to Hudson Smith, who had the headgear torn off him. Adamson lying in the tackle again, needs to be careful. Dunley now. The Panthers up quick out wide. Gillette turns it back to his right-hand side. Dunley got back there in support. He's through them. Weber on his inside, didn't see him. Jorgensen made the tackle there, and Tigers on either side of Shane Dunley, they still might score a try. Gillette put the kick in, and the Panthers are offside.
No, he was in front of him. He came from over there. You ask him, Steve, you ask him.
So more pressure now. The Tigers surely will take the shot at goal to put them 14 in front.
That's right, Warren. I mean, there was a little bit of anxiety there. I think a couple of them wanted to grab the ball, take a simple tap and keep going. But a little bit of bad luck for him coming here. Quite a clever little kick coming in. Basically just a pretty simple offside. Penrith guys claiming that it wasn't offside, but I'll tell you what, you'd be doing it tough to walk a straight line with them if that was the case.
Well,
pretty clearly offside.
It's been football suicide, hasn't it, this second half from Penrith? I mean, just silly mistakes and silly penalties that they're giving away on top of them.
Yeah, they've got to try and change it a little bit. Royce Simmons is a guy that probably tries to demand as much discipline as he can from his forwards whilst not giving away aggression, but some of the things that they've been doing out there this afternoon wouldn't leave him all that relaxed during his fourth or fifth view of this video replay.
Oh, that's for certain. But never now can put them 14 in front. That would probably be enough for the Tigers. Although the way this game's gone, nothing is certain. He hits it nicely. And the Tigers lead 24 points to 10 with just over 10 minutes left here at Leichhardt. You've got all sorts of odds on Balmain winning 4 of their first 5 before the start of the competition, but they're just 10 minutes away from doing that now as Brett Boyd comes back to take his place on the bench for the Panthers. Girdler drives it deep, looking for the touchline. O'Neill fields it, pushes away from Chris Carter. Steve Carter, rather. Carter wasn't happy about the forearm being raised by O'Neill and let the touch judge know in no uncertain terms.
The owner of Blue Holden Nova.
Never now. Working from fullback. Picked up 25 easy metres. Terrific work by the fullback. A slow play of the ball. Adamson and McGilvray rolled him on his back as Dunley now kicks. With no chase coming through, Jorgensen fields it. And the tackle's in hand there for the Tigers, but they're playing for field position. Williams works it up towards the 30. They need to score quickly, Penrith. That's Sid Tommy, who hits it up and he's slammed backwards by the second rowers, the Merchants of Menace, Stimson and O'Neill.
Yeah, it's all over now, mate. Pride's the only thing on the line at the moment, and I'm sure the Balmain boys aren't about to give that away.
Here's Big NG, a former Tiger himself. He slammed backwards. Duckworth was in there. Now Brown on the last tackle. He'll be caught short of the halfway line.
Let go the ball.
I'm not quite sure that Darren Brown knew that was the last tackle. He was just working it away from dummy half, so the Tigers got to have it in terrific position now. Here's Weber. Well, Penrith, they're just about out on their feet. Dunley turns it back inside for Gillette. Never could see Big Barbed Guile looming and wanted nothing to do with it.
And I think the handbrake got pulled there.
Oh, the Bundy card came out of the back pocket and went ka-ching. I want nothing to do with this. And why would you blame him?
Oh, you can't blame Shannon. Maybe you're a little bit unfair, but there he was. You can see him having a look at who was in front of him. I don't think there would have been too many other blokes that would have claimed that they wouldn't have had a peep either.
Oh, had he taken the pass, Mark Guy was going to put him in the third row. Here's Guy now throwing a pass for Robbie Beckett. It will dribble across the touchline as Beckett forced it, knowing they need points very quickly. And the touch judge is going to rule that it's a Balmain loosened feed.
Yeah, the players out there, Penrith, the players are claiming that the ball actually came off the Balmain player, and I think it did as well. But the new rule, of course, in rugby league, that if the defender is not seen to be intentionally playing at the ball, they are not to be penalised for it via the scrum feed going against him. There it was, the ball simply coming off the Balmain defender's arm as he was involved in the tackle.
Have a breathe, have a breathe. No. Get up.
Sean Hampson again with his troubles trying to get this scrum set down cleanly. The Tigers get it. Gillette has had plenty of options on either side of the ruck for the Tigers all afternoon. Kennedy, who has been quiet in comparison to the flying Loa Milford, who's picked up a hat-trick to date. Duckworth now almost to the halfway line. Time running out for the Panthers. Here's Shane Walker again, picked up and dumped heavily by Duncan McGilvray, who's been tireless in defence for the Mountain Men. Webber, short pass on the Withers. He was taken comfortably by Beckett. Still plenty of feeling here as the minutes tick by. A kick to Williams. They're up to meet him. David Woods steps back inside Kennedy and runs a good 20 metres and gets another pass away. Jorgensen cuts back towards the blind side. They're 40 metres out, the Panthers, but they need points and in a hurry. Darren Brown saw a hole. Tries to stand and get the pass away, forces it to Girdler, who has Adamson wrapping around behind him. He jinks for a second before Duckworth comes across the top to stop his progress.
Well, you can see there the opportunities that the Balmain players have been able to give each other. Just simply tipping the ball on all the time, and when you get offloads in the game, it really does create doubt.
Carter grubbering for himself now in a race with Nevin. The ball comes loose. Milford, he drops it as well, but they'll force the goal line dropout. The panic station's there for the black and golds.
The share prices on the football certainly dropped there for a while. But really, have a look at the bloke who's come up with it, Steve Carter. He's been terrific for them, and as captain, he knows that he's got to try and do something to turn his players around. It really looked like it was a bit of grease there, being tapped down eventually by Milford to defuse a difficult situation.
Yeah, I got to tell him. I got to
Okay, support player in the break. Okay, Brett Holder's support player in a good position to take the ball, and he had no chance of taking it. He's taken right out of play.
Yeah. All right, Kelly, you go to spot. Look at me. What it's for, you've taken the player out, trying to defend, right? It's going against penalty. Sean, anyway.
Geez, come back for it up too. Must have been about 3 tackles ago.
Well, Ben Duckworth there calling Sean Hampstead Steve, and Sean reminding him on the way back what his Christian name really was. Anyway, they're going to come back 35 metres out from the Balmain try line. The clock was stopped while all that was happening.
Yeah, there's a break being made. There he is, simply being held back there. Number 13, in Duckworth, the guy that was holding him back, has provided Penrith with another chance. They look like they're pretty keen, but I suppose their spirits are just down a little bit.
Inside the final 5 minutes, Phil Adamson met by 3 Tigers and stormed backwards again. There's still words being exchanged here. Darren Brown, a ball back on the inside. Carter, he got past it, and Nevin, a great tackle by Dudley. Carter got up and went again. Hampstead's going to have a look at it on the video.
No, we just want to check. Two things here.
Steve Carter tackle.
If it was a double movement, he's tackle on the ground, so he had hold of him, or he lost the ball when he put it down.
Good decision, mate. You've done the right thing.
Hampstead's going to have a look at it on 2 counts, as you heard, whether it was a double movement and whether he planted the ball cleanly. Here's Carter. Dunley made the tackle. The ball seemingly coming loose there. Well, in slow motion, it really did look as if the tackle had been completed.
Well, you've got to toss a coin there, because you watch when he's on the way to the ground. It looks like Carter almost loses control of the football. It goes down, but he does keep it between his knees. And you've got to watch where the Balmain player is holding him. He's actually got his hand on the football, or is he holding his arm? it's a little bit of a dodgy situation. I think there's not too many people who would agree that the ball went straight down. There was no difficulty in planting the ball, but I think both sides would have argument there to claiming that it was a try. It really did appear to me, though, at first sight, as though it was a clear double movement.
Well, we wait for the decision. The video referee had a couple of angles to look at. Sean Hampstead talking to the Tigers as we wait. Try or no try? No try it is. It's going to be a scrum. The ruling from the video referee is that Carter did in fact lose the ball in the tackle, and so it will be a knock-on, and Balmain will have the feed.
Well, a little bit difficult. Both of those angles gave us a clear sight that the ball had been... He'd lost control of the football, but whether he'd actually... the ball had hit the ground or not was the hard part to make decision on. But the most interesting point there was Steve Carter. He didn't seem to object to it at all.
May have been a moot point nonetheless, because time is running out for the Panthers, and they were still going to be 8 points behind at best. The Tigers work it away inside their own 20. It's been another hard grafting win. There'll be plenty of bruises back in the sheds, and the ice machine will get a workout. Those 2 points will be very sweet. Duckworth, so hard to bring down, picking up metres again. Brett Boyd hanging on to him. He was dragged the best part of 5 metres. The kick coming over the shoulder of Williams, who fields it. Away to Jorgensen. But still, the chase is a good one from the Tigers. Girdler hasn't had the best of games and makes a mistake trying to create something here in the final 3 minutes.
That runs both ways. Balmain knocked it on too.
Pretty much sums up the afternoon for Penrith.
Yeah, Ryan Girdler, I mean, I'm probably one of the bloke's biggest fans as a footballer. I think he's a sensational footballer, but Ryan himself would freely admit that this is probably the worst game that he's had in the last 5 or 6 years. He's had a shocker.
And the last thing he wanted to, of course, with representative games coming up. Everybody out to impress the selectors. The Tigers have it again through Bubba Kennedy. He's away. Adamson coming across in cover. Kennedy steps back inside him and goes over to score. And the celebrations begin at Leichhardt. Points to 10. They're on their feet.
Again, another chance being provided by Balmain. Very nice tip on the inside. A simple missed tackle. Not sure whether it was Carter actually got it, but you've got to commend the cover defence of Matty Adamson. Although he's been beaten right at the end, it was a huge chase. Cover defence is something from scrums that we don't see quite enough of anymore, Pete.
Yeah, they're exactly right there, Wally. It's something that's just gone right out of the game. But, Wally G, you've got to give credit to Balmain. I mean, we've got a minute and a half on the line. They could have closed the game up. They're still having a dig at it from scrums. One-on-one, change of direction, and they're away. It's just absolutely superb football.
And it's been those one-on-one situations that they've beaten the Panthers in most of their tries here this afternoon, apart, of course, from the Jason Weber try on the right-hand side of the field in the first half. That was from a drop ball. The Tigers have just had too much dash for the Panthers in the back line today.
I think Wally summed it up before the game too, Warren, when he said, you know, it doesn't matter what the names are on paper, it's what the performance is on the field. We talk about Girdler's game or lack of game today, but gee, the Balmain defence has been absolutely superb all over the park.
They've allowed just the one try. That's to Darren Brown and Shannon Nevin.
Something we spoke about in the intro, Warren. It's not always a team that can score points that wins the game. It's the ones that deny the opportunity. And that's what Balmain have done today.
And the lack of scoring chances, the Panthers have really frustrated them. And they've missed plenty of tackles as well. Nevin converts the Kennedy try. And that will just about do it. The siren sounds. And the Tigers, convincing winners against the Panthers. Now, maybe, they'll be taken seriously as a finals contender in '98. They've beaten Penrith 30 points to 10 in front of an adoring crowd here at Leichhardt. Hudson Smith and William Bubba Kennedy shake hands, and they are cheering on the terraces. Paul Sirenen will lead his side across to the hill to thank the fans who turned up. Exchanges some nice words there with Mark Geyer. There weren't too many nice words during the 80 minutes of football. They went as hard at it as any two sides have gone this year. And it was the Tigers who handled it by far the better. They've turned the clock back a decade. The lower Milford, 3 tries. They want more of him. He's going to go across to them. He's their hero this afternoon. Why wouldn't he be? They love him here at Leichhardt. He comes back to his fans as Paul Sirenen signals to the fans at the southern end of the ground. And standing by with our Harvey Norman, NEC man of the match, Peter Mulholland, is on the sideline.
Congratulations today, Shane Walker. Absolutely superb game, mate. And must be great to get 3 in a row now.
Yeah, that's the first time for a long time for us at the Tigers, and very good effort by the whole team.
Yeah, a forward performance that dominated once again.
Yeah, Junior put it on us and said that we had to perform today and match the Penrith side. They're a very big side, and we just played very strong.
Well, Shane, congratulations, and from NEC, Player of the Match award.
Thanks very much to NEC. Thanks a lot. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much.
Didn't he have a good game, the front rower, running a couple off the ruck in the first half there, causing plenty of problems for the Tigers, and somebody else who had a great game is with Peter Mulholland back down on the sideline.
With me is Shannon Nevin down here, boys. Listen, Shannon, that 3 in a row. Again, I just said to Shane, a great effort, but certainly a very, very strong performance in the second half.
Yeah, mate, we were determined to come out in the second half fired up because we knew that Penrith wouldn't be happy with their first half, so we knew they'd come out fighting, so we knew we had to pick it up, and we did that.
Shannon again launched on the back of a great forward display.
Oh, definitely, mate. Our forwards just go forward all day, you know, even when things are down, they just dig in deep and go forward, and that makes it easy for everyone else in the team.
And shooting for 4 in a row next week with Cronulla.
Oh, yeah, mate, we're taking every game as it goes, and, you know, we're looking forward to win every game that we played this year. It's good.
Congratulations, mate. Well done again. And back to you, boys.
Well, they start to file out of the Norman Latcham Robinson stand on the western side of Leichhardt Oval. And they'll go home happy because the Tigers have beaten the Panthers 30 points to 10. We'll take a break and come back to wrap it all up. Five tries to 1, the Tigers have beaten the Panthers here at Leichhardt. And there is the score breakdown and the stats while at full time. 30 points to 10. Plenty of possession, 60% for the Tigers, and missed tackles, 18 by the Panthers, just 9 by the Tigers.
Yeah, almost impossible to win a game of football when you've got those sort of stats hovering about you. And you have a look at the completion rate too, of course. Only half. I mean, it's very difficult to keep going with that as well. But you really have got to pay credit to Balmain. They came into this game without a great attacking record, but boy, when they go out there and provide opportunities like that to each other, it's impressive. There it is, those 5 tries. Milford with 3 of them. It was a great day for him, wasn't it? Terrific. Kennedy and Webber picking up the other 2, and Darren Brown with just the other 1. Shannon Nevin, though, with that goal kicking, 5 from 7. He missed the easy ones and got the difficult ones from the sideline.
Wales or Australia.